It really
It's
is.
true that most of these black women have been bullying her and want her to understand it's their league. Hello, you don't own the league. Blacks don't own the league, just like whites don't own tennis or golf. Nobody owns the league. This is America. Anybody can play if they're good enough.
Megyn Kelly is going off on Caitlin Clark after she apologized for being white. Now, Megyn Kelly is annoyed at Clark because of the fact that, Clark being a white female basketball player is apologizing for being white and winning an award. Now, basically, Megyn Kelly is saying that Caitlyn is pretty much admitted defeat, and black people have made some of the most racist comments towards Caitlin Clark without any consequences. So Megyn Kelly, as you all know, is not all about that. She wants people. Well, Megyn Kelly wants people to be authentic and stay real and everything without having to apologize for anything, whether you're black, white, brown, Puerto Rican, or even Haitian. Okay, so here's Megyn Kelly along with a panel of other guests as Megyn Kelly and others discuss the issue at hand with Caitlin Clark. Now remember, Caitlin Clark has been caught up in a lot of controversies that weren't her fault, but now Megyn Kelly, among others, is upset about the fact that Clark has decided to go ahead and go woke. So here is Megyn Kelly talking with others about Caitlin Clark, about her apologizing for being herself. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have with this particular content. If you enjoy sharing this video, go ahead and smash the like button and share the video far across social media. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications so that way you're notified of future uploads and updates.
Yep.
So Caitlin Clark of Iowa, but now playing for Indiana in the WNBA, gets honored in time as the athlete of the year. I don't know. I guess they need a lot of covers or something. I mean, whatever. They just want people who are going to sell their shitty magazine. So she gets selected as athlete of the year. And what does Caitlin Clark do? Like this woman who's a superstar. She's the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. And she's become a phenom in part because the players of the WNBA can't fucking stand her. Why? Mm-hmm. Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total racism. And one of the things that's been admirable about Caitlin is she just continues to play her game and put points on the board. And she does very well, and she wins games, and she puts butts in the seats, and she sells tickets, and she gets people tuning in on television. And all really we want to hear from anybody about this is thank you. Thank you to Caitlin Clark for making our league relevant and so on. But instead, she's been bullied repeatedly by the players in this league. She's been assaulted physically. She's been scratched in the eye. And I mean, all of this is on camera. We've covered it repeatedly on the show. So she gets this honor. And all she has to do is continue staying above it. Thank you. I'm grateful. Love being in the WNBA, and I love my colleagues who I play with, my teammates. That's it. Instead, she decides to go racial. And what she says is she feels the need to acknowledge her white privilege. Basically, she's sorry she's white. She feels really bad about it, though, so you should give her a pass. And then she makes a point of saying the ones we really need to be celebrating are the black women on whose backs this league was built, which I have to tell you is so condescending. It's true that most of these black women have been bullying her and want her to understand it's their league. Hello, you don't own the league. Blacks don't own the league, just like whites don't own tennis or golf. Nobody owns the league. This is America. Anybody can play if they're good enough. But they want her on the knee. You'll bend the knee and you'll apologize for being white, and you will suck up to the black women who built this league before you, or you will be beaten. You will be assaulted, and you will be bullied with no friends. So she does it. She finally did it. She bent the knee, self-flagellated over white privilege, and look at the black women in this league. And I have to tell you, if I were a black woman in that league, I think I'd say, screw you. Because don't treat me like I am the ugly stepsister and you are Cinderella, and no prince is going to look at me unless Cinderella says, oh, give her a little time. Oh, put her in the spotlight for a moment. I would be offended, genuinely offended by her. Like, look over there. Look at them. They're not white. They did a lot too. And here's the other thing. It's totally insincere. And here's how you know it's totally insincere. Because if Caitlin Clark really felt uncomfortable in the spotlight as the newbie who's white, who's, because white people didn't build the league, she wouldn't have said yes to being Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. So either walk the walk or don't. But what you're doing here is trying to have it both ways. You're too cute by half, and you've managed to piss off your fan base. Go ahead and look at my Twitter feed and the comments under my tweet on this. She's lost thousands of fans, maybe more, as a result of this. And you will never appease the race bullies in the WNBA, ever, because you're too popular, you're too talented, and too white.
Now, that's definitely true because Megyn Kelly just expounded on how Clark is, pretty athletic, pretty good at what she does. And then next thing you know, boom, here we are where she's apologizing for her white privilege. And Megyn Kelly also made me think about something else. The fact that there's going to be much less butts in these seats, at least at all the games where Indiana Fever is going to be appearing at and stuff. And the fact that the matter is, now that Caitlin Clark made this particular move and stuff, you know what? It's the WNBA is going to be back to square one, where they're not going to have high ratings or a lot more butts in these seats and stuff. Because guess what? These people, a lot of them are no longer fans of Caitlin Clark as well as the WNBA because of the fact that Caitlin Clark decided to go ahead and bring up race and stuff. And like Megyn Kelly stated, they are not going to care about Caitlin Clark's decision to go ahead and make this known. They're still going to treat her the same way. They're still going to condemn her. And Megyn Kelly is just simply stating that fact right there. And Megyn Kelly also touched up on the fact that, it's going to be she's going to basically get the similar treatment from black women from the league as black men who supported Trump and stuff, who are basically not going to get this kind of support that they're looking for black women. Now, the fact of the matter is, there's black men out there who voted for Kamala and stuff. And guess what? At the same time, a lot of black women out there, they're not going to care about that. They're still going to go ahead and belittle them. And Caitlin Clark's going to get this same particular treatment. Megyn Kelly is actually expounding about that. I know that's a different topic, but it has the same principle, okay? And the fact of the matter is that Caitlin Clark decided to go ahead and make this decision and decided to go ahead and speak up on this based on the fact that she was voted on for this award as Athlete of the Year. Now, you could have just went on ahead and just simply thanked your family, thanked the Lord, thanked your teammates and everything, as well as the WNBA for giving you an opportunity. But instead, you decided to go ahead and add in there that you want to apologize for simply being white, or like the so-called white privilege. Now, as a black man, I'm going to let you all know everybody in this nation is privileged about something: black, white, yellow, brown, Puerto Rican, Haitian, no matter what. But the fact of the matter is, if you feel that you're privileged based on your race and stuff, guess what? You're gonna have to go ahead and get rid of all these delusions that's it's trapped inside of your mind. What you believe that you're guilty of something and stuff based on your race, because guess what? Your race doesn't define your character, okay? And it's all about the content of your character and stuff. But then we all forget about that. So, yeah, here's Megyn Kelly talking more about this with the crew from Reckless.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you completely nailed it. As soon as I saw that statement from her, I was incensed, because it was only a couple of days earlier I'd been telling Duncan's from Indiana. I was like, wow, I see all these clips of this player you've got. She's amazing. She's done great. And I've been following during the season her getting bullied by all these other players who are jealous of her, who are jealous of her success. And meanwhile, these statistics would come out where all the road games where she plays sell out. They're the best selling games of the season is when she comes to town. And for her to turn around and bend the knee to these people who've been bullying her, like you said, it's never going to be enough. It's not just her trying to get these people to like her who've been mean to her. It's her complete betrayal of her fan base. People, for years and years, men have been complaining that ESPN doesn't cover sports. They cover critical race theory, and they're sick of it. People watch sports for escapism, to see competition. Caitlin Clark was an inspiration to so many of my friends' daughters. And for her to go out and say something like this, to try to, like you said, being like, oh, no, 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 Black players need me as a white savior to bring them and highlight them. This racist equity system, all it does is divide Americans. And the result of this election, in large part, was Americans saying, we're tired of that. We've had enough of that. And Caitlin Clark's going right back to that.
And DEI
That's
is
so right.
DEI is a nonsense thing, but can you think of any profession in which it's more nonsense than athletic competition, in which there are statistics and points scored? It's such a preposterous thing to claim somebody has privilege in a competition of athletics. And not to mention the fact that, you would never say something like that about the NBA, where there are hundreds of Black superstars paid millions and millions of dollars. And by the way, that NBA subsidizes the entire WNBA. Yeah, right. So, and she's walking around talking about her white privilege. It's insane.
Well, here's the other thing, Duncan.
I'm curious about something. What made Clark all of a sudden to go ahead and have people like Megyn Kelly talk about this? Matter of fact, what made Caitlin Clark think about this and stuff, think of saying about this? What made her to actually talk about this and everything? Is this somebody on her PR team who decided that, maybe it's time to go ahead and talk about this? Or is this part of some sort of brand deal that she got? Or has she been this way all the time but kept it hidden? Makes you wonder, if Clark was, all the time she got fouled and everything, was she saying, well, I mean, it's I understand on deeper the inside because of the fact that my white privilege and everything, and they have every right to feel this way. I mean, it's not my fault, but I mean, I shouldn't have done this, done that. But the fact of the matter is that what made Clark all of a sudden talk about this stuff, give me something like people like Megyn Kelly and myself to talk about and stuff. But the fact of the matter is that Megyn Kelly is about to go ahead and where all of this is stemming from, or how destructive this is, because guess what, Megyn Kelly and others are saying that this whole DEI thing that's being played in sports and stuff, is ruining the sport, the fun in the sports and stuff. It's where women are actually being less equal. It's where women are also being obliterated by male competitors and stuff, all because of the fact that they identify as women. And Megyn Kelly is also about to show how DEI is ruining these sports and stuff, where race and other forms of politics has nothing to do with it.
And here's the other question. I don't remember Serena Williams apologizing for her blackness in tennis, which had been dominated mostly by whites. I don't remember Tiger Woods apologizing for his blackness in the PGA, which was dominated by whites. No one would even think of such a thing. They celebrated this new figure in sports who maybe didn't look like all the other figures they knew. They thought it was great. He was to be celebrated. That's how normal people have responded to Caitlin.
What they all had in common is that they fundamentally changed the sport, and they brought casual fans into the sport to become lifelong fans of the sport. It didn't matter what the color of their skin was. That's what Tiger Woods did to golf. That's what Caitlin Clark did to the WNBA. That's the sort of excellence that should be celebrated. And it's so weird to me that we had that entire ideology fail at the ballot box a few weeks ago, and now she's like the last one to get the memo. It's crazy.
Yeah,
imagine a world. We got to keep this going because it's like I'm so fired up about it. But imagine a world in which Serena and Venus take over tennis, they crush, and the thought pieces that are being written or the comments that they are required to say are, I just want to acknowledge that tennis was built on the back of white people like Chrissy Everett and Martina Navratilova and Billie Jean King. And, I have Black privilege in being here because of my however she wants to attribute that. It wasn't explained by Caitlin either, exactly how her white privilege got her some more attention in the league. That's the theory by some racists, that the only reason we want to watch Caitlyn is because she's white and we can't stand watching the blacks, but we'll watch the white, which is absurd. She's by far the best. The stats prove it. That's why she's so popular. But in what world would we ever be comfortable saying to these black superstars, you better acknowledge the backs on whose, bodies tennis and golf and whatever white sport you can think of was built? I mean, it's an absurdity. It's racist on its face.
Now, Megyn Kelly has gotten me to think that a lot of these, black players in the WNBA who actually spoke out against Caitlin Clark and all of that, where, Caitlin Clark was hated on based on her skills and stuff, and also because of jealousy. And Megyn Kelly is also expounding on this because the simple fact of the matter is that, all these different players throughout the league, they're upset that, Caitlin Clark's putting up all these numbers. Well, go ahead and just shut her down. Go ahead and try to beat her. But the fact of the matter is they couldn't. All they could do was just foul her up and down the court and stuff. And now, all of a sudden, Clark decided to go ahead and blame her white privilege and stuff. And what is she like? What's her intent in all of this? That's what Megyn Kelly and others are trying to figure out. And Megyn Kelly also gave up some good points and stuff where, there's other, predominantly white sports and stuff where there's the same issue is not happening in those, yet they're still popular to a lot of people. But then again, DEI does have its way of snooping around and stuff because the people let it. And this is where Megyn Kelly is looking to go ahead and get right into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, the thing that really strikes me, if you think about Time Magazine, it's not, they don't care about sports. It's a religious tract for the left-wing lunacy in this country. And what they care about is driving their politics forward. There are thousands of athletes who have had great years that they could highlight if they cared about highlighting a top athlete. Caitlin Clark is one of them. But this story and naming her really strikes me is something that was negotiated between her PR agent and Time Magazine, where the agreement was she would say what the left wanted to hear, and in exchange, she's named athlete.
Well, this
Well, if that's the case, how come Trump was named Person of the Year? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have on this particular topic. If you have any additional thoughts on this particular topic, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Also, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Click the bell notifications. That way, you're notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.